The iron horse bar was thunder and laughter, the kind that keeps a storm outside where it belongs. Then the door opened, and the storm walked in. A boy, 10 years old, soaked to the bone, held something small wrapped in a t-shirt. He looked up at 30 leather-clad men and asked, quiet as a prayer, "Can you fix my dad too?" Glasses stopped. Music died. Even the neon seemed to hold its breath. Mac Roadhouse Rivera knelt until they were eye level. "What's your name, champ?" "Noah." "And what's in the shirt?" "A motorcycle toy. Me and my dad were going to fix it together. He saved my mom when men broke into our house. Now he's in the hospital. And one of them got out on bail yesterday. Mama's scared to go home." Mac's jaw tightened. Every man in the room shifted forward. He glanced at the brothers. No one blinked. "We fix what we can. Tonight, that's 3 things. Tiny cleared his throat. "Kid, hand me the little bike." Noah unwrapped it. A wind-up motorcycle with red paint chipped thin, bent fork missing spring. It looked tired. It looked like it wanted to run. Rook spread a towel on the bar, laying parts like treasure. Switch opened his laptop, then closed it when Mac shook his head. "No cameras. This one's family. Your dad's name?" Mac asked. "Luis." Mac nodded once. "We ride for Luis." Tools came out. Not the loud ones, just the careful ones. Someone turned the music down. The room leaned toward the boy. Noah watched, elbows on the bar, root beer sweating between his hands. Rook's voice was steady. "If I had a watch gear." Mac reached into his pocket and pulled a small tin. A brass gear, a single bearing, 3 orphan screws. "Try these." They cleaned the toy, but the spring still wasn't right. Mac stood. "We finished this where your dad can see." The crew rolled out under a sky stitched with lightning. Headlights smeared gold across wet asphalt. Noah climbed into Mac's sidecar, clutching the toy like a heartbeat. "You afraid of thunder?" Mac asked. Noah shook his head. "I'm afraid of quiet," Mac nodded. "Then we'll keep it noisy enough for hope." They glided toward County General, a ribbon of chrome cutting through rain. Nurse Ellie almost dropped her clipboard when 30 bikers spilled into the lobby. Dripping, silent, respectful. "Family only," she started. Then saw Noah. Mac lifted a hand. "He is. We're just the pit crew." Ellie held his gaze a beat longer than rules allow, then passed the masks. "Room 214, keep the thunder in your boots." Luis lay very still. "Not gone, not here." That in between where machines do the talking. Noah climbed onto the visitor chair. "Hey, Dad, I brought our bike." Mac and Rook sat up beside the monitor. Switch sanitized the parts with cotton swabs and the kind of care you only use on something that matters. Rook bent the paperclip into a new spring, whispering numbers like a prayer. Mac steadied his hands. Slow as smooth. Smooth as fast, they worked to the rhythm. Beep, beep, the monitor and the soft scrape of metal. Rook placed the final screw. Mac wound the key one slow turn. The toy clicked to life. It rolled in a perfect circle. Noah gasped. "It works." The toy's tick-tick-tick braided itself with the monitor's beep-beep-beep. Noah took his father's hand. "Dad, listen. Our bike is running." For 17 seconds, nothing. Then Luis's finger moved, just the pinky. A tremor like an engine trying to catch tick-tick-tick went the toy. Noah squeezed tighter. "Dad, please." "I need you." The finger curled. Then the whole hand closed, gentle, certain, around his son's. The monitor's beep synced perfectly with the ticking. Tick beep, tick beep, tick beep. Nurse Ellie's clipboard clattered to the floor. She stared at the monitor, then at the toy still ticking beside it. "Sometimes," she breathed, voice trembling, "faith has moving parts." "Impossible," she whispered. Mac smiled. "Impossible's just a machine that hasn't been fixed yet." Luis's eyes opened. Found his boy, and smiled. "Hey, champ." Noah burst into tears. "They fixed it, Dad. They fixed everything. When doctors took over, the bikers didn't leave. They only changed tools." Switch launched a fundraiser called the Wind-Up Miracle, keeping the family's faces private. Tiny led teams to the Santos home, repairing the door, installing motion lights, better locks. Rook hit a supermarket, groceries, kid-friendly meals, a nightlight shaped like a crescent moon. Then Switch looked up from his phone, jaw tight. Problem. Black Mercedes in the parking lot. 2 suits. Been watching the entrance since Noah's story went viral. Mac stood. Tiny Rook with me. Switch, called Detective Martinez. In the parking lot, Mac approached the Mercedes. Didn't yell. just leaned to the window and said quietly, "The boy's story has 2 million views. Your license plate is in 400 screenshots. Every cop in the city knows you're here. You can leave now, or explain to a judge why you're watching a family at a hospital. Your call." The passenger leaned forward. "Do you know who—" "Don't care." The engine started. "They left. Fuel's cheap," Mac said. "Courage costs more." They just ran out. When Luis moved out of ICU, Mac called the crew. "Tonight we ride quiet." They didn't start engines. They pushed. 50 bikes lined the street beneath hospital windows, headlamps glowing like candles. Just leather shoulders moving in steady rhythm. Ellie filmed 20 seconds and typed 5 words. "When angels wear leather." By dawn, millions of views. Donations flooding in, Switch's phone buzzed. A message from St. Mary's head of neurosurgery. "Luis Santos's scans show neural activity we didn't think possible. The synchronization during your visit may have triggered something. This will be in medical journals?" "Thank you." Tiny's voice cracked. "We didn't just fix a toy." "No," Mac said. "We reminded him what he was fighting for." 2 weeks later, Luis walked through his rebuilt doorway, one hand on Noah's shoulder, the other on the wall like he was shaking hands with his own house. Fresh paint, new locks, a fridge full of groceries. Bills stamped paid on the table under glass. The wind-up motorcycle sat like a crown jewel. A little plaque beside it read, "The wind-up miracle fixed May 12, 2025. Some engines run on fuel. Ours run on each other." Luis turned to Mac, speechless. Mac saved him the trouble. "You did the hard part. You raised a boy who believed in strangers." Noah held up the toy. "It still ticks, Dad." Luis listened, smiled. "So do I." Then Noah pulled a wooden box from his backpack. "Dad made these in physical therapy. Said it helped his hands remember. Inside 15 hand-carved wooden motorcycles, each painted perfectly, each with a name carved underneath." Mac's throat tightened. He picked up the one with his name. "Every detail perfect. Your dad's an artist. He says you gave him his hands back. His life back. His family back." Noah pulled out one more thing. A wooden plaque. "Some engines run on fuel. Ours run on each other. The Santos family." Mac hung it above the bar later that night. The wooden motorcycles lined up on the shelf beside it. Proof that help runs both ways. Ellie arrived straight from a shift, hair pulled back, smile tired and bright. "You're still trending," Tiny groaned. "Does trending come with nap time?" "Sometimes," Ellie said, "but usually with more repairs." Mac faced the crew and wrote on the chalkboard, "Rule number 1. Any kid who asks for help gets it." No questions. No one erased it, ever. Word spread without being pushed. One afternoon, a mother and son brought a broken fire truck. The crew fixed it while the boy watched, eyes wide, learning that broken things can run again. Then came more. A doll with one eye and too much story. 3 airplanes. A robot missing both arms. A teddy bear that only needed a new stitch and someone to say, "There, better." The bikers fixed them all. Not because the toys mattered, but because someone did. Noah started showing up after school, a tiny wrench necklace around his neck. Mac taught him the craft. How to listen before you twist, how to clean before you rebuild, how to say good enough only when it really is. By December, a wall glowed with shadow boxes, repaired toys under glass, each with a first name beneath, Aiden, Mina, Kai, Rosa, Eli, a living museum of small victories. But one shelf stood apart. Toys that couldn't be fixed. Broken beyond repair. Mac kept them anyway. "Why keep the broken ones?" Noah asked one day. Mac picked up a toy soldier missing both legs. "Because someone loved this once, and love doesn't disappear just because something breaks. These stay to remind us, even when we can't fix it, we show up. We try. We witness the breaking and say you mattered." Noah was quiet for a long moment. "Then, like my dad, if he hadn't woken up, you'd have stayed anyway." "Every minute," Mac said. Noah added a name to the broken soldier's tag. Courage. People started bringing casseroles, then socks, then notes. One read, "I didn't believe in people until now. I do again." Another, "For when your thunder gets tired," it was a battery pack. Of kindness. The toy that started it all stayed closest to the register. Sometimes a regular would point at it and ask the story, and somebody new would hear it for the first time and feel that familiar, private ache. the hope that someone will show up for you when the quiet gets too loud. On a calm night, Mac stood alone at the counter. He lifted the dome and wound the little motorcycle. It circled 3 loops, ticking with confidence. He thought of a boy walking through rain, of a father who refused to let darkness win, of men who wore thunder like a jacket but learned to move like a hymn. Tiny stepped out from the back. "You're up late." "Making sure the engine still runs," Mac said. Tiny nodded at the toy. "It does." Mac nodded at the door. "So do we." He turned off the last light. The ticking continued in the dark, a small sound with oversized courage, because some engines run on fuel, but the best ones, they run on each other.
If this reminded you what brotherhood feels like, hit like, subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from.
And if a kid ever walks into your life holding something broken, you already know what to do.